My name is Chanda Nxumalo, and you're tuned in to the NepoXchange Podcast. I think that you've got to try hard things. And I think that's maybe what we're losing as a
the recipes.
A generation. Yeah. I think the main things that I lean on are really giving people access to opportunity, and for them to wanting them to take hold of it and grab it and run with it.
What is the thing that attracted you to the renewable energy space, or how did you get into the space rather?
I have to be honest, I got into it by mistake.
Okay.
So I have stayed in it because I love it, but I got into it by mistake. Prioritize the experience and the learnings, and yeah, don't give up.
Welcome to this edition of the NepoXchange Podcast. I'm your host, Koketsopala, and today we have a very special guest, Chanda Nxumalo, who is the Director at Harmattan Renewables. Chanda has played a pivotal role within the renewable energy space, especially in the solar space. With experience across Africa, Europe, and the US, she's passionate about building an inclusive, more sustainable energy solutions, as well as inspiring the next generation of leaders. Welcome, Chanda. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Koketso.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you coming through. So we're going to have a very nice chat. We'll start quite nicely with our icebreakers, and then we'll get more into the serious stuff, the conversation, and it's going to be nice. I think we're going to enjoy it. I'm so glad that you were able to join us. So the first game that we're going to get into is called This or That. We'll give you two options and then you choose one.
Okay.
So the first one's very, very slow, very simple. Do you prefer early mornings or late nights?
Early mornings.
You're an early riser.
I'm an early
That's
riser.
good.
Well, no, I'm just not a late person.
That's good. I think all of us have that balance. All right. And then do you prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee.
All right, okay. And then this one is a bit controversial. Not really. Do you prefer, if you had to choose between solar PV and battery storage, I know they go hand in hand, but which one would you choose?
I'll choose solar PV.
And why?
Why? I think it's my comfort zone, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good answer. Thank you. So the next game is called Two Truths and a Lie, where you'll give me two truths about you in one line. I must guess which one is a lie.
Two truths and a lie. I am 42.
Okay.
I have 3 children.
Okay.
What else can I think of? I don't think of anything about myself.
Take your time. Let's see if I've done my research as well.
I run an energy business.
Oh my gosh! Now you made it tricky because I thought the first two were the truths. No. Oh my God. Maybe you're not 42. Maybe you're not 42 yet. Right?
No, I'm 42. I have 2 kids, not 3 kids.
Oh, this is the
I was
very
being
first
mean
time.
to you.
This is the very first time in this podcast that I get this game wrong. You got me. So the last one is called a ticket list. What is the one ambition, whether personal or professional, that you feel like this I have to do, whether before you retire or like any time, whatever time frame you've set for yourself, you're like, this I have to do, even if it's before the end of this year?
Ooh, personal ambition. I want to go and live in Brazil for a month.
Okay.
But
That's interesting. That's quite a good one as well.
I think so too. Yeah.
All right, that's cool. That's great. All right, so we are about to get into our more serious questions. So the first one, I think we're starting also quite simple. What is the thing that attracted you to the renewable energy space, or how did you get into the space rather?
Oh, I have to be honest, I got into it by mistake.
Okay.
So I have stayed in it because I love it, but I got into it by mistake. When I graduated, so I did my master's thesis for the UN Environment Program in Mali. And then when I graduated, I was really struggling to find a job and a role. And the Northern Irish government had a program where they matched graduates with companies that wanted to do export. And I got matched because it said environment on my CV. I got matched with a company that works. It was an operations and maintenance company in the wind space. And yeah, they were like, we need someone that's an engineer that wants to come help us do business development and help us set up offices in the US. So yeah, it was purely by mistake.
That's beautiful. I love how most of us have that story where we ended up somewhere by mistake, but we loved it and we stayed. That's beautiful. So just speaking on that and how you stayed, you've and you just spoke about your role in the US. You kind of have experience in technical, commercial, but also executive roles within different continents as well. What is the one role that you'd say stretched you the most, and how did you adapt?
Ooh. Stretched me the most. I think probably that my current role, to be honest, stretches me the most.
And what do you do to kind of adapt and like find your balance?
At the minute,
if there is such a thing.
There's no. I think balance is a lie sold to us, but maybe that's too skeptical. What I do at the minute, I'm going through a lot of leadership coaching, learning, trying to be a better, because I think managing people is stretches you a lot. It's not my comfort zone. So trying to learn how to be a better people manager.
Okay, all right. No, that's great. So with your role now, as we just spoke about it at Harmattan, you kind of work with different clients across advisory, asset management, and technical services. So could you share maybe a project that for you feel like has been so special and meaningful, and you kind of like, this is one of those things that show me why I do what I do?
Why I do what I do. I think probably the first project that we ever did as Harmattan. So when we set up the business March of 2020, and we got appointed by Lake Turkana Wind Farm. Actually, I know I said solar, but yeah, lots of wind stuff. Got appointed by Lake Turkana Wind Farm to basically run training program for all of their staff on how to optimize the operations of the project and the wind farm. And yeah, that one was I like teaching and training people. So we spent 6 months basically working with them on how to manage the contractor, how to review data, just understanding of wind in general. And by the end of it, they saw a huge uptick in the plant and how it was running. So yeah, I think that's special to see, when you come in at one point and then leave at the other, and that there's been a change in people and delivery and things like that. So yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that you just spoke about teaching people as well. If you can maybe name one or two people that you feel like have also taught you things that have made an impact. They could be like personally that you've met, or maybe somebody that you just I don't want to say role model because it feels boxed in, but somebody where you picked up something and you're like, they've really taught me something great that I'll probably like use in my either career or personal life for a while.
I think probably the main one is a lady called Geraldine Fraser Moleketi. She used to be a ANC cater. She's a pretty famous lady. I sit on a board with her, and it's watching how she navigates kind of coming from the government space to private sector space, and how she deals with people and lives her values, I think is very special.
That's beautiful. I think you're kind of touching on our next question, which speaks about the importance of inclusion as well as representation, because it really matters. What I think for you, can you say are some of the practical steps that can help, especially women, but also young women, in terms of how they can thrive within their professional spaces?
Ooh, that's a big question. Look, I think that especially as women coming into the sector, we often question ourselves and how we got there and whether we're doing the right thing. And
That's true.
So I think I would say
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I've been reading a lot of stuff about how actually I don't think imposter syndrome is a bad thing. I think that we just need to leverage it a bit better. So it means that we're in touch with our surroundings and we kind of then react and
self-aware.
Self-aware. And so we shouldn't not listen to that feedback and our guts. And I think that a lot of us just ignore it. And
that's true. Or we want to deal with it, like as in get rid of it instead of letting it help us.
Exactly. Help us grow and thrive and recognize that you have to basically be responsive to a situation. I think especially as women and women of color in the space is just backing yourself and trusting yourself and knowing that there are other people that are doing and going through the same stuff. So I think finding that support network to say, hey, I'm going through this. Have you seen this? Can you help me? What do you, how do you advise me?
Yeah, I agree. A support system is very, very important, whether in the same space as you or even in other spaces that I think can kind of like help you navigate personally and professionally. So that's really great. So just also then speaking about our space or the renewable energy space, if there is one common misconception that you've kind of had, what would it be? And like what would you tell people to kind of like, that's not true?
I think that you have to be an engineer to be involved in renewables. I think there's so many roles and sectors and areas that you can get involved in, from finance people to podcasters to environmentalists, right? I think it has this whole breadth of roles that you can do. So not to feel like you are in a box, or you're not going to be able to enter into the sector if you don't have kind of an engineering qualification.
Absolutely, I agree. By profession, I'm a PR professional, comms marketing, and I found that coming into the space, I also felt like that, very intimidated, feeling like, am I going to fit in? Am I going to be able to kind of like break down the key messages and communicate things properly? But I think it's just about obviously applying yourself and obviously learning and understanding. And once you get through that, you're able to do your role and it works out. So what leadership principles can you say you kind of like you kind of lean on, or like you live by, if I were to put that?
So I think at the minute I'm in a journey of figuring out my leadership style. But I think the main things that I lean on are really giving people access to opportunity, and for them to wanting them to take hold of it and grab it and run with it. Because I think or maybe a better way to put it is, I think that there's a very big pie of things, opportunities, revenue, profit, whatever it is that you want out of this sector, and everybody can have access to it. So trying to make sure that we're working together to say we can all have some of this
thing. You can have a piece of the pie, all of us.
Exactly.
That's good. And I think the good thing about life and work, I actually read a quote this week that said, if you're waking up, it means there's still obviously more for you to do. And I think that's that, even like in your leadership role, as you're saying, that you're still figuring it out as you go, and there's always like uncharted territories. Yes. So that's great. How this is that question that they always ask women, but I think it's just important that we have to ask, but how do you kind of, we spoke about it earlier that there really isn't balance, but how do you kind of balance your work, especially when you had to when you held international roles? How did you balance that with having your personal life, being a mother, having to take care of your family?
All of these things. So look, a part of the reason why I live in South Africa and stay in South Africa is that it's much easier to build a support network and have help. I have an au pair that picks them up and drives them back from school and extramurals and all of that stuff. I think if you're living elsewhere, that is a little bit more difficult. I think it's also just important the person that you pick to have small humans with, because Nsika he's much more of a family person, so he's the person that's like making sure hands-on, making sure everything is done. So if I'm traveling, I don't have to stress that kids are being fed, being dropped off, etc. And he's always, that's what his driving force is. He runs his own business, so he's got time, but I think it's very important that you have a person that you're doing it with that is able to kind of support you. I really don't think there's balance. I think you have to make choices, and sometimes you're all in something and sometimes you're all in another thing. I knew when I had the kids, and before we even had kids, I told Nsika, I don't do drop-offs, I don't do school pickups, it's not my not my role in life.
You're going to have to make a plan.
You're going to have to make a plan, and that's kind of worked out. But also, I knew I wasn't going to be a stay-at-home mom, right? At 8, when my eldest name is Shaka, when Shaka was 8 weeks old, we jumped on a plane and we moved to Senegal because I was working on a project. I mean, looking back was the stupidest thing ever because I had no clue. But I was like, I can't be at home by myself cleaning poop. And I love him dearly, but I spend quality time with my kids doing things that I want to do. I know that I'm not the stay-at-home mom. So I think it's also not feeling, and maybe rather than saying, is there balance, it's not feeling guilty about the choices that you make, right? I can, some people want to be full-time moms, some people want to balance, do 50-50 mom home or wife home, whatever it is. And that's okay, right? Everybody makes their own choices that they're comfortable with. You've just got to do it and not feel guilty about it, right? And say, actually, if these are my values and this is the choice that I'm making, my kids will be fine. The business will be fine. Everybody's going to be fine. So I think it's that, especially as women, I think we get lots of guilt, right? You should you should want to, stay at home. You should want to take a long maternity leave. You should, And a lady called Lisa Pinsley, her youngest is the same age as my eldest. She was the one that, she was just like, nope, you don't have to feel bad about this. You can go back to work. You can, that's okay.
Yeah, I love this. I think there's two things that stood out for me. We already spoke about it earlier. I think you highlighted it earlier that also having that support is quite very important. But I think another thing that you just reminded me is we are all so different, and I think we are all so stretched, which is amazing. I have a friend of mine who sometimes she's like, I can't believe you have a 6-year-old. I can't wait to have a child. I feel like she feels like she's running out of time. And I'm like, take your time. As long as you said you're not ready, don't even feel like you need to. And that even is okay. You shouldn't feel guilty that you're running out of time and you're chasing your career. You can do it and you will still, have your time to have. And I think I love that about us as women and how multifaceted and how diverse we are. And we can do it all.
we can do it all. I think we just need to be conscious that we can't do all of it 100% all of the time
at once,
and that is also okay, right? So sometimes I miss a school play or that's okay, right? They will be fine, but they also need to see, I think with my kids at least, they need to see that I have a job and I have to work to earn money, to pay for the things that you want, and because I think otherwise they think, stuff grows on trees.
No, absolutely. Oh, they do. Oh, they do. There's a school trip today, and I had forgotten about it. So my evening yesterday was chaotic. It was chaos. But you know what? We made it happen. So
They
yeah.
went. They were clothed.
They went. She's
they
on
had
the school
food.
trip having fun. I keep getting pictures from the principal, and I'm like, good.
Exactly.
That's
They'll be
it.
okay.
Yeah. So just back on your work or the industry, what legacy do you hope to leave in terms of your roles, but also just your contribution within the renewable energy space?
So when we set up Harmattan, part of the reason that we set it up was because so myself and my co-founder Adam, we were working for an international company, an American company, and what we saw was that they would ship in people into the continent to do projects, and for us it just didn't make sense. There's so many smart, bright people that are here that can do projects. Why don't you just use them? So a big part of what we have been trying to do with Harmattan is really give opportunities to people that might not otherwise have the opportunities to get into the sector, and at the same time build an excellent business, right? So that people know actually there's an African business that does really great things. You can pick them, and relative to an international brand, they deliver the same level of service. Beautiful. But they are wholly African. And then what we realized as well is that I can do that, we're a small consultancy, so there's only so many people that you can hire and it still be make financial sense.
Absolutely.
So we also set up a not-for-profit called Ariti, and that is focused on really skills development and bringing people of color, women into the renewable sector, and giving, I think it's giving access to opportunity. So for me, the legacy really is, I think that we need to transform the way the sector looks so that it reflects the majority of the population. And how do we, make a contribution to that?
Yeah, I'm trying to order my question, but I think you speak a lot about skills and access to opportunities, which is what is very important even for us at Nepoworx and the work that we do in terms of empowerment. So just on that, how, when you're looking at the industry and how it's growing, do you think there's enough being done in terms of, and without obviously, like bashing other people, like just also, I think just looking at like what all of us as a collective are doing, do you think we're doing enough in terms of like the growing skills, but also introducing other people to say, hey, there's this industry that's really growing and actually we need people, skilled people?
My short answer is no. I don't think we are.
Not enough has been done yet. Yeah.
I don't think enough has been done yet. I think also because there's little pockets of things and people doing like amazing stuff with certain groups. But I think until we get the private sector to actually buy into this thing and say,
Absolutely.
I'm not hiring a woman because she's a woman. I'm hiring her because she's actually really great
not
at
filling
this.
A quota.
Yeah, exactly. She's really great at this job, and I have these set of roles of people that I need to hire, and I'm willing as well to put in the training and the time and the energy into this person to build them into what they need to be. Because I think what happened when there was a pause in the industry is that then people stopped wanting to spend the time and the time and the money really to train people and give them, because I think it's not maybe I say it slightly differently. I don't think it's a skills problem, right? We have lots of super qualified people with like, it's an exposure and an experience problem.
Absolutely.
And so until private sector takes the hit to say, actually, you know what, I'm probably going to have to bring someone in. Yes, they will be 50% useful for me for 6 months until they see and they do and they experience. But unless we can't just keep shuffling people around in roles and not bringing new blood in.
Absolutely.
So that, I think that it's important that we as a sector start to try and think, how do we bring more people in?
Yeah, I think you spoke also to such an important fact that we, again, as Nepoworx speak about a lot, that we don't just train people to train people, and that's I think that's the issue we have, as you say, not enough is being done. And I think it's the important thing is collaboration between private, public, as well as other foundations or organizations, that we can come together and ensure that these people that are trained actually get the exposure and the experience, and they're able to move forward and grow, instead of it's a 2 months, 3 months, and then they stay home. But rather, if we make sure that we kind of provide long-term opportunities, I think that is what will take us or move us forward rather. I feel like this conversation is so short, but we're on the last question. So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to kind of like follow the same path as you? I know your path has been,
all over the place.
But I think it's kind of, I actually spoke about this morning, because I was speaking about, like, I was reflecting on Heritage Day. I saw a video of a cultural dance, and I was like, I used to do this. And my dad used to be so strict and wouldn't allow me to do things, but I was so rebellious, and my grandmother would let me go and do things. So I was speaking about it this morning, actually saying that it's important for parents and people to allow people to try everything. Like, I tried everything and then figured out what works for me. So, that's your path. You were...
What I would say to people, I think that you've got to try hard things, and I think that's maybe what we're losing as a
the recipes.
A generation, because in order to grow and to learn and to progress, I think you have to go through discomfort, and you might not love the role that you're in, or you might not, but if you pick to do the hard things and be the person that delivers and gets stuff done, I think you're always going to be picked for something else. Most of my jobs I've been paid, like that first one where I went to the US at the time, I think I was on the equivalent of, it was £9,000 for the year, so like 180,000 rand, which, I mean, you could barely live on, but I was in the US, right? I was doing all of this
different
experiences, right? And so it's maybe to prioritize the experience and the learnings, and don't give up, right? You've got to try something for long enough to learn something about it, so that the next time in a crunch situation, you've got those skills, right?
Absolutely.
You've got that experience, and you can do something about it. Do the weird stuff. I think.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. Just 1 second. We have small gifts for you, because we really appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate you for your time, but also for joining us.
Even though I was extremely late, don't be late.
It happens, and that's what happens when you're running. You're in executive positions. You have the grace to be late, but also it was important for us to wait and have this great conversation, because I think for the young people and our viewers at home, we want to create this great pipeline or this platform that has a lot of information that they can go and look to and look up to and see, oh, hey, I see myself doing this, and this is what I want to do in the future. And you're very important, and the conversation is very important. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And to our viewers at home, don't forget to check out our platforms. Follow Nepoworx on all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, as well as NepoXchange. View our previous episodes as well, and enjoy. Thank you.